Alright, well, go on again. You don't know it going on. How you know and Jay, you know. ojmerge one more time again. As I say again, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Back with another vlog.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, today, we didn't really know what you guys wanted to talk about, but O and I have been, you know, playing with some ideas. So tell them what we're talking about today.
Well, today we're going to have some freestyle talk at the end of the day. We're going to ask John some question. I know she's not aware of this because we set it up and we said we're going to freestyle and go freelance at the end of the day. But we're going to ask John some question about motherhood today. As you know, I want Jay married and them something there. So it's going to be soon time to start family. But I want to see how firm Jay is.
Whoa, I was not ready.
Inside of this one.
I was not ready for this.
We're going to know what benefits Joe think of, being a mother. What are the skills that she have being a mother. And all these other things. Because the time I come up here, and
why are you saying it like that? Don't say that, because then they're going to think that there's a bun in the oven, or that
no, we're not start
that
baking.
We trying.
We're not start baking. And we're not start trying to plan things and move forward at the end of the day. Because number one thing about Jay, very strategic in everything that she do. Even when it comes down to, planning parenthood. Very strategic with it. Very calculated woman at the end of the day. She do things and she plan it a certain type of way, and that's how it works out. Not like me a yard man, so I'm wild with it. You don't know it go already. Anyway it falling. Anyway it work. You don't
need to be too wild with it. Let me find out you wilding.
No, me I talk about it, man.
Yeah, everybody gonna die.
But here I go on. At the same time, I'm gonna ask Jay some question at the end of the day. And the first question I'm going to ask you at the top of the dome is, what do you think when it comes to, when you think about motherhood?
When I think about motherhood, I think of the ultimate act of selflessness. I think that mothers are to be championed, mothers are to be praised and given many thanks, because mothers make many sacrifices. A lot of our mothers, your mother, my mother, y'all mothers, have sacrifice things that y'all can never even begin to imagine. So I do think that motherhood is it ain't to be played with.
Facts. When it comes down to motherhood, as I say again, motherhood is not a selfish thing. It's very selfless. Mother makes sacrifices for us sometimes it depends on the type of mother, depends on the class that she's in life. If it's lower class, middle class, upper class, it depends. Sometimes your mother not eat just to make sure the kids eat. Sometimes the mother work crazy jobs, just to make sure that there is money. And sometimes all she have is just, money to pay the bills and do certain things, and then that's what it is. And I'm speaking about single mothers. Joan won't be a single mother because you don't know or go there. Him not going away, regardless. Salute to all mothers. And I want the father to not feel that type of way, because this is really about the mothers. You understand where I come from? We're going to do one again, probably about fathers. But right now, that one is for the mothers. Alright. What kind of baby you want? When you think about having kids, what kind of, what's the gender that you would want to have first? Male or female? Boy or girl?
Well, I just think of having a healthy child when that time comes for me. A baby that is healthy. I want a baby that is, just happy. A happy child that's healthy, and a lot of that some of that has to do with God. A lot of that has to do with God, but then the rest of it has to do with you as a parent. Whether your child is mentally healthy, emotionally happy, and stable. As far as boy and girl, I've always thought that a boy would be better for me. Why? Because I just feel like they're easier to deal with, easier to raise. They get independent much more early, and this could all just be a stereotype. I don't know. It's coming from a woman that is not a mother, has never been pregnant, and has never had children. But I just would assume that a male child would be easier to navigate.
That's the way you think. At the same time, the thing is this. Having a son sometimes, the concerns are crazy when you think about your boy child and society, what they have to go through growing up. Police that are not great ones. Life itself, gangs, being black, all type of extra things come with it at the end of the day. You get where I'm coming from? So having a son definitely is a tough ball game. Having a daughter is also a tough ball game. Parents on a whole have a tough, it's a tough thing regardless. It's never easy because, it doesn't matter what gender is it. Boy or girl, it's going to be some tough challenges. You get where I'm coming from? Alright, the next question. What?
I had no idea I was being drilled today.
Most definitely. So it come authentic. It come authentic and, I just one of them things there. What do you think are the benefits of having kids?
Well, for me, somebody that has never experienced it, I can just go by what I've seen. I would say, most people would say that, having a child is a highly rewarding experience.
Blessing.
A blessing. Many people have a baby and then suddenly, your world changes, your life changes, your perspective changes, and your priorities change. So I think for most people that see it for what it is and that are able to embrace it, it is one of the best things to ever happen to them. Now, if you ask me this 5-10 years ago, I have always been very careful to not become a mother sooner than I was ready to become a mother. I've never planned a baby or anything like that. And if you would have asked me this, 5 years ago, I would have said a baby is just a big responsibility. It's a person that you have to be accountable for. They say 18 years, but it goes beyond that.
Way beyond.
Way beyond that.
Your kids, will always be a damn kid, no matter how old you get, no matter how old they get. You look at them as your kids. But
so I think I've always just seen it as just a disruption to your life. Like, oh, you're just going about life, whether you bullshitting, whether you fucking up, whether you're doing great things, and then boom, everything is disrupted and you gotta realign your life. And to me, that has always been up until I got a husband who I feel like this is a situation where we could bring somebody else in because they're gonna be loved by two people. Before then, I just always felt like it didn't make no sense. And some of the ladies gonna probably crucify me in the comments and be like, oh, this, that, and the third. But that's just how I felt for a long time. And that's why I have been without child all this time.
Well, I want you to know this. All females are born with a mother instinct. And when you get to a certain age to have kids, then that mother instinct kicks in. So, your fears and the things that you think about at the end of the day, which I'm going to get to next, is you got all of that in you without you even knowing as a woman. And the moment you see that child, then all those instincts kick in. And no matter how young you are as a mother, no matter how old you are as a mother, which females have kids when the time is ready at the end of the day. Have kids when it's, a good time to have them.
Elaborate on that. They don't know what you mean by that.
When you're old enough, responsible enough, and acquire certain things enough to, make that child happy or to take care of your baby a certain type of way, regardless if the dad is around or not around. But I understand that situation happening where that is, a different story where mothers get pregnant early because things happen in life and we understand that all. But, if you can or if you have the will to do so, do it when the time is right. That make any sense?
Yeah.
Most definitely. All right, move on to the next one now. What are some of your fears or one of your fear to being a mother?
Well, the first fear would be having my vaginal and potentially partial of my anal lining go from this to this. I've never met anybody that said, oh girl, it don't hurt, oh girl, you be alright, it's cool, it's a walk in the park. Hell no. Everybody say the shit hurt, you might get split, you might have to get a couple stitches,
might have to get a C-section,
might have to get a C-section, and it does not sound like something that is not traumatizing. It just sounds extremely painful, and I don't like pain. I don't handle pain well. I'm the type of person, if I get my nails done and I hit my nail against the bathtub while I'm cleaning the tub is aching, and for the next week I'm miserable because my nail is aching. Like, I don't know really how to bounce back from that.
Okay. Well,
that's the first thing.
Okay, go with the second one. Let me hear it. It seems like you have a second one. Sure.
The next thing is, like I said, or I wouldn't say so much now, but for a long time, it was just the fact that, you know, we have plans in life. We have a path that we want to go on, and we understand that we'll have obstacles or things that come our way to stop us from getting there as quick as we want to. But if you have these plans and you want to get there, well, what's a bigger disruption than a 18, not really, 50-year commitment to another person in your life? Because if your child 50 and you still living, you 80, they still, well, I guess at that point you become more their responsibility. But I say it to say it's the pain of child labor and the commitment. Those have been the two things that have been scary as hell when you think about becoming a mom.
As I say again, I don't want the father them feel that type of way. This is about the moms them today. Probably we'll do one, well, not probably, we'll do one about the dads too. So we don't want the father them to feel left out. Okay? Just I say that again. Alright. One more thing. What advice would you give to a mother that, or what advice would you give to a female that is thinking about having a, you know, trying to get pregnant at this point? What advices would you give to her if she come to you and be like, Joan, you know what, I've got my husband, whatever it is, and or if she do not have a husband, 18 years old, does not have a husband, and said to you, you know what, Jay, I'm thinking about giving my boyfriend a child. What would you say to her? What advice would you give to her?
Well, I think once a woman makes a decision that she's ready for motherhood, there's nothing you can tell her. You can't say, wait for marriage or wait for this or wait for that. If you want to have a baby with your boyfriend, that's your right and that's your prerogative. I would say, you know, make sure that you have some sort of financial stability to take on that responsibility, and or some type of emotional support, whether it be your mother.
I want you to clarify that. When it's a financial stability, a lot of people probably thinking about, okay, make sure I have some money tucked away, or, you know, whatever it is. Specify. Do you mean like make sure that the dad has a job, mama has a job, some form of income is coming in that could sustain them during that?
I mean, if I'm gonna keep it real with the girl, I'm gonna say, look, don't be out there trying to procreate with your boyfriend if he ain't got no job. If you 18 and your boyfriend 17 and he live in his mama's basement, baby girl, do you really think that's a good idea? Think about that. But again, if you feel like you have the essentials, I mean, either one or both parents need to have the essentials to make sure that this child is gonna be okay. So if you're 18 and, you know, you graduated high school and you got 2 jobs and you making ends meet, okay, you got enough for milk, Pampers, and childcare. Okay, you want to spend all your money on that. You don't want to have money for your hair and your nails. Cool, because that's not a priority to a lot of women, especially when they're thinking about having a child. Then by all means, go ahead, but understand what to every action there's a reaction. So if you choose that path, understand the weight of that responsibility. But by all means, I'm not gonna tell nobody how to live their life.
Okay, sounds good. A lot of females, when they get pregnant, they feel like, you know, they need to keep themselves, you know, keep themselves up. Constantly do their nails to remind themselves that they're beautiful. Constantly do certain things. Constantly, you know, get themselves something. Constantly probably go shopping to make sure that, you know, they have certain necessities to make them not feel down and depressed. What would you say to a female? What would
Get your nails done so you don't feel depressed.
That's what you say? What advice would you give to a female that feel like, oh, I'm getting fat, oh, my husband don't love me no more, oh, my boyfriend don't love me no more because I put a little baby weight on and I need to keep myself up, and she's constantly crying? What advice would you give to her to make her feel, you know, a little bit more upbeat, or feel upbeat, or, you know?
Well, it's 2 things. And one thing I didn't touch on was the last question you asked me about a girl that's not married who wants to have a baby. First of all, if that's the path that you want, I would not say that you need a husband in order to create and sustain a healthy child.
Definitely.
Okay, that's not what I'm saying by any means. Number 2, a woman that is feeling like her man is not supporting her through her bodily changes that she's going through pregnancy, I don't have no advice for her. I got advice for his ass. Grow up. Grow up. Because everything is all fine and dandy when that thing looking all tight and nice, and you want to penetrate that thing and breed that thing. But when it starts to go through the normal changes of process and you can't handle it, then that's just
our body, our
that's
shape,
just
our foot
immaturity.
them get little bigger, our little hip them get broader, our foot them get bigger, she starts swell up, she can't walk properly. What is it?
Suck it up. It's immaturity. You know what I mean?
For a man or for the woman?
For the man. Mm-hmm. The man, because in life everything is not gonna always glitter. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna make a commitment to somebody, be it marriage, friendship, or parenthood, you gotta understand everything is not gonna be golden. So be willing and ready to go through those ebbs and flows and those highs and lows.
Most definitely. I'm going to say this to someone. Anytime your woman pregnant, she need that extra boots of love. No matter how you love your woman, no matter how you love her, once she's pregnant, her emotions are all over the place. You know, she's more sensitive to certain things. She pay more attention to certain things, and she's in her feelings, and you know, she's all over the place with it emotionally.
Can I interrupt you 1 second? Sure. I just want to give them some context of why you can speak on this, because I can't speak on this. I don't have any children. My husband has a child, so he has been through this before. He knows what the pregnancy, actually he's kind of seen the process of how pregnancy can change a woman and how a child can affect the dynamics of a relationship and the responsibility of it. So I wanted them to know why you speaking with such conviction on these topics.
Good interjection. But at the same time, as I say again, gentlemen, make sure you love your woman more than enough when she's pregnant, because that's the time she feels vulnerable the most. That's the time she feels, you know, her emotions are all over the place. Everything is all over the place. Love her more. Tell her how beautiful she is. You know, rub her stomach. Make she feel loved. Never make she want anything, you know, if you can give it to her, depending on what she wants. But always make she feel accepted, comforted, and loved. You know, big things at the end of the day when it comes down to a pregnant woman. So my last question to you now.
I feel like this gonna be the kicker.
My last question to you now, Jay, is more on the last question of a bit different from what I asked you so far. When is the right time, do you think, you know, a woman, when do you think a woman is ready to start family, and are you ready to start family?
It's different for each woman. Mm-hmm. It's different for every woman. For me personally, you know, I wouldn't have wanted to have a child when I was 14, 15. I didn't know shit. You know what I mean? Still learning who I was, still understanding the different emotions that a woman goes through, not only on a day-to-day basis, but just regular hormonal changes, you know, or when you are dating and you're learning how the opposite sex moves, just understanding that dynamic and how to keep yourself grounded in the middle of all that. Yeah. I wouldn't have wanted to be a teen mom. College would have been tough too, you know, because in college, for me personally, I was there for the purpose of getting that education and getting that degree in hopes of, you know, elevating my path once I graduated. Had I got pregnant in college, yeah, some women do it and they say, well, at least I finished high school, so I'm good now, and I got a little bit of life experience because I've been independent in the college journey, so I know how to be independent. Cool. But for me personally, even in college, I was still very much developing and evolving and going through the motions. So for me, it wouldn't have been a good time. After college, I did, you know, get my first apartment and I got my first job and I had a little salary, but it was literally only enough to sustain me, and barely. It was times where I was like, woo, so I'm gonna get turned off because it's just, life ain't cheap, you know? So I wouldn't have even wanted to do it when I finished college. And not only that, you know, personally, I wouldn't have wanted to do it with somebody that I didn't feel was really for me. Because during those years as a woman between high school and college, you're dealing with a lot of young men who mentally aren't ready for the things that they think they're ready for or that they say they're ready for. I don't want to generalize because there are some very mature young people well beyond their years that handle it like a pro, that could probably teach me some shit. And I'm like, damn, how did y'all do it? And how did y'all figure it out so young? But I would say on the grand scheme of things, people just aren't ready at that age. So for me, you know, I'm still answering this. You know, I think that my husband and I, we are comfortable to where I think we could, you know, fit another person into this space of ours. Are there some things that I would want to see happen before then? Of course. Is that a bit of me being a perfectionist? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, because when you wait so long, and I don't want to say so long because I'm not ancient, but when you are so careful not to become a mother before you're ready, now you kind of feel like, okay, let me just not do it just because I can. Let me do it at the right time. But I think
makes sense.
You can't get in your own way and keep thinking that you have to wait for the perfect time, because I don't know if there's really ever a perfect time. If there is a perfect time, it would be when you feel like you can afford your life and another person's life. And when you have the help of somebody else, it makes it a lot easier, I would assume. So I would say I'll be ready when God tells me that I'm ready. It's his plan above all.
I like that. I know you never expect these questions tonight and you ace them. I'm not gonna lie, you know, some of them, you really ace them. So, yeah, that's another vlog again from ojmerge, again from O&J. You know the thing work already.
Yes.
Nice little conversation me have with her, because
I do not
she don't like
that
talk about certain things. I'm like, I'm gonna bring it authentic across, so you know, y'all can hear what the heck is going on too, if so be the case.
Yeah,
but
y'all.
yeah,
That was a lot of heat for me tonight.
Yeah, man, but you did a good job, though, mama.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
So, at the same time, as I say again, a ojmerge. Like, share, subscribe, and look out for the next vlog. Everything I go alright. Turn on your notification bell. Share it everywhere at the end of the day. You know it go already. Alright, we out. Boom.
Out.
Are you me lover, you me want to be my only cheek. Girl, give me your finger, me have to put a ring on it. Night nurse, me addicted to your nightly trick. Never get a loving like this, like this.